So there is something that I want to tell you in the previous lecture. So I made a mistake in that one. Just let me see. Okay, so in this lecture, yeah, Thompson construction method. Okay, so just let me share the screen also. Okay. Okay, so in this specific method, in the assumption part, this slide algorithm part, there is something written that I have completely misunderstood and told tell you differently about it. Okay, so the second point that is written here, that A has exactly one final state which is not co-accessible from any other state. Okay, so I have given you the explanation of it by only seeing this thing. So it is saying that A is your finite automata, so finite automaton. So it is saying that this finite automata has exactly one final state, and this which is not co-accessible from any other final state. Okay, so if this is the thing, then I can say that that your Thompson construction method is not applicable here. So exactly the meaning of this is not like this. It is saying if you go towards the next line, it is saying that is for any letter A, the transition of Q1 on QF on A is phi. It is just saying that if there should be at least one final state, and that at that final state there should not be any transition of any input symbol. Okay, so if there is a transition of like A from it, so it is not possible. So the meaning of this line is not this. So I completely misunderstood the statement. The meaning of this line is that that at the final state there should be no transition. Okay, so if you clearly see this, this type of thing is readily possible if you see in your A plus B. If you have seen that your expression go like this in your Thompson construction method. Okay, so in that one, if you clearly can see that this final state is co-accessible from other state also. Okay, so Thompson construction method is applicable here. Okay, so there is a mistake here. I just want to say that the meaning of this line is that at the final state there should be no transition. Okay, so on A or B it should not be defined. On any input symbol it should not be defined. If it is defined, then Thompson construction method is not feasible here. Okay, just take a look at this also. So at this final state there is nothing defined. So the transition of final state is epsilon here, phi here. In the same way, see the transition on final state is nothing here. See the transition on final state is nothing, and the final state, the transition of final state here is also nothing. This is a point that I want to add, that keep in mind that the meaning of this is totally different. I misunderstood it completely. Okay, so keep this mind. Just correct this one. If you are solving the question, if you check this condition, you will also get that thing in mind, that it is already written in the second point that it should not be feasible here. So again, when I see that, I that point also came to my mind, and again I read that statement, then I got to know what is the problem there. Okay, this is just from the last lecture, and now we have done like a pumping lemma. We were doing, I think, yeah, I have introduced you to pumping lemma. Not exactly introduce you. I just tell you that specifics of this. That this is a negativity test. Negativity test means if any language, if any language passes this test, it does not mean I cannot say that a particular language is regular or not. But if it is fails this pumping lemma test, that I can exactly with full guarantee I can say that the particular language is not regular. So I only tell you this point about it, and another one. Sorry, sorry about that. Okay, so again, in this one we have done some identification of regular languages. This is an informal way to recognize any particular language is a regular or not. Okay, so again I will okay, so I will again continue with that one, just adding another week lecture. So if in the final lectures, in the final lecture we have done some questions about how to see that a particular language is regular or not. So I just summarize these points. So the first point is, suppose now you know why I do not want you to do pumping lemma, use the to use pumping lemma here, because first of all this is a little bit of a mathematical method. So, it is very easy, don't worry, it is very easy. This method is not complex. If you understand it, you can easily apply it in like 30 seconds. You can tell any about any language. So there is no two ways about it, that this is very easy. But there should also be some things that you should understand only by seeing what you have studied till now. Okay, so pumping lemma, we will do this. This is a formal method. So informally, without any written confirmation on any book here, you can see that the previous concept that have been covered, and by using that concept, how can you recognize that a particular language is regular or not. So so why I do not want you to use this pumping lemma, because it does not guarantee a solution of a particular language here. Suppose, because pumping lemma, whenever you give a language, whenever you give a particular language to a pumping lemma,
Excuse me, sir.
yes,
Sir, I can't see your screen.
you can't see my screen.
It's not been visible for the
Yes, sir,
last 4 5.
same.
Oh, sorry for that. Okay. So again, I think that you do not understand anything that I have told you. Just I repeat myself again. So there, just let me again go for the Thompson method. You should have told me earlier if you are not able to see it.
So that one was clear. It was visible. The pumping lemma one was not clear. Not visible.
So the Thompson
The
construction
Thompson
method
one
was, it's, yeah,
yes,
for
sir.
this it's clear. Okay. So I just move ahead uh, with the pumping lemma. So now it is visible. Anybody see
Yes,
me?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Visible.
So again, why I do not want you to exclusively use pumping lemma. I want, because if you give any language to a pumping lemma, if it passes the pumping lemma, you are not sure that a particular language is regular or not. So this is again a question mark here, that it is a regular or not. But if it's failed, then you are confirmed. So it can happen that that sometimes your pumping lemma will pass. So what is the meaning of this applying a pumping lemma if you again do not know about this method? So there are other ways to identify it. And that ways you have already studied it. Okay, so if you have studied the concept and just do a quick revision, you will find out that how to find that a particular language is regular or not. Okay, so the first I prefer this one, that but a finite automata. Okay, so if you give any language to a finite automata, if the construction of the finite automata is possible, yeah, I can draw the finite automata, yes, then you can directly say that this is a regular language. So there is no two ways about it, and there is no doubt about it. If you are not able to draw a finite automata of a particular language, you can directly say that this is not regular. Okay, so there. So this thing we have already studied. So because if you want to if we have tried this question, a raised to power n, b raised to power n, where n is so if you try this, you will not be able to draw any particular finite automata for this. Okay, so you can directly say that there is no particular automata exist. So for that one, you can directly say that this language is not regular. Okay, so there are other ways also that you can. The first one, I just want to tell you, if you are able to draw a finite automata of any language, you can directly say that if the automata, this is more this is more I would say certain solution. If you're not able to draw a finite automata, you can directly say that Second one, again, it is, if you remember, the finite automata is your acceptor and it accept only regular language. Okay, so if you are able to draw a finite automata, you can directly say that it is a regular language here. Okay, so another thing is to represent a regular language, you need a regular expression. Okay, so again, if you are able to write a regular expression for a particular language, okay, so if you are able to write a regular expression, then you can again say that because regular expression is the representer of regular language. If you are able to write a regular expression for a particular language, you can again directly say that your particular language is regular. Okay, so the third thing is to recognize that. How to recognize it is, if you see that if there is a need of a memory there, okay, so if there is any need of a memory here, you can directly say that this is not a regular language. Okay, so how can you identify this one? If you remember the previous question, okay, so this, if I take this example, this a b b, so I have to remember that I have seen two a's, I have to see two b's, that only then I can go to the final state. In this one, if n is raised to the power of 3, then I have seen three a's and I have to see three b's to go to the final state. Okay, so that is the thing about this one, that if there is any memory requirement in it, you can directly say that this is not a regular language. If again, if there is no memory requirement, again you have to check for something that if it is regular or not. But if something requires some expression or some language requires a memory, you can directly say that this is not a regular language. Okay, the fourth point can be, if any language is finite, you can directly say that this is a regular language, because we started with the prerequisite that why we needed finite automata. So finite automata is uh, needed to represent infinite patterns. Okay, so if they are finite, so for finite patterns, there is already finite automata will always be drawn. Okay, so if anything is finite, you can directly say that this is a regular language. Okay, so these are some points that I want you to see, that by using these simple points that we have studied earlier, and these are not very complex points. You have already seen this point. If you just go towards back lectures, you will see that this points we have already discussed. Without needing the pumping lemma, you can look for these points and you can easily tell that a particular language is regular or not. Okay, so again, we have done like 10 questions. Again, if I just go in the previous lecture, if you see, there again, for memory requirement, I will tell you a simple method to recognize for memory requirement. How can you recognize a memory? So suppose something is written like this: a raised to power n, b raised to power n, and c raised to power n, where n is greater than equal to. So if the variables are written on A and B, or anything is similar, you can directly say that there is a dependence between A and B. Okay, so the number of A's dependent upon number of B's, and the number of B's are dependent upon number of C's and number of A's here. So you can directly see that there is a need of a memory. Okay, so this type of question, like anything, that A raised to power n, B raised to power 2n. Okay, so for also that one, that n and n, you can directly say that. So this is also a very easy way to see that if there is a dependence between any variable here, so there is a need for memory. Okay, so something like this can also be written: a raised to power m, b raised to power m, c raised to power 2n. So again, if you see that there is a dependency of n and n, again you can directly wherever you can see n and n, you can directly say that this is not a regular language. So this is very easy to recognize that which part requires memory and which part does not require memory. Okay, so again, I am just telling you the informal ways. Again, keep that in mind that this method is not regular. If I just say that a raised to power n, b raised to power n, c raised to power n, but if I change the condition of n, that n should be less than or equal to 100. Okay, so now what happens? It becomes finite. So whenever any language becomes finite, you can directly say that this is a regular language. So these are some points that you should keep in mind when recognizing any language that you want to be a regular or not. Okay, so there is also another type that I again tell you another types also. Uh, suppose this is another type. I will tell you. Okay, so the input symbol here, keep that in mind. The question which I am discussing about, and the input symbol in that will be only a. So the first one is a raised to power n, and where n is even. So again, I will tell you another trick to identify that a particular language is regular or not. Okay, so now the meaning of n even means, so you know that this is a regular language because the automata can easily be drawn, so it can you can write like this one. Okay, so a you can easily draw NFA for this. So this is absolutely a regular language, but I just want to identify a similar pattern here. So what will be the pattern here? A raised to power 0, a raised to power 2, a raised to power 4, a raised to power 6. Now, so there is something that you have studied in your high school mathematics, something called arithmetic progressions. So this is a series question, so don't worry about it. We do not will go in the solvation of this, that how to solve this. There is no worry about it. So in this arithmetic progression, there is something called a common difference. I think it is in AP as well as in GP also. This thing lies here, that there is something called a common difference. Okay, so if a common difference exists between terms, it means that there is some kind of a pattern is existing. Okay, so how do I reach to that? I will tell you. So sub C, 2 minus 0 is 2, 4 minus 2 is 2, 6 minus 4 is 2, and 8 minus 6 is again 2. So again, I can say that there is something called a common difference which lies in that. Okay, so it means that arithmetic progression or arithmetic AP series formula can be applied on that. So there is no need to apply any arithmetic progression. You can directly say, because this series lies in AP, that it means that some pattern is there. So it means you can directly say that this is a regular language. Okay, so why I am stressing on that point, that whenever you are going to find a AP, so what happens in that AP series, there is a common difference. Okay, so common difference ensure, if you clearly see this, the difference between them, the difference between a successive term is only 2. Okay, so at every point you are saying the common difference is common. The difference is common between every succeeding term. It means that there can be a loop, a loop can exist with the in this type of things. Okay, so if you see that two what I say, a two state loop can exist. Okay, so I can directly say that because of this common difference, I can directly say that a two state loop can exist. So that is why this common different part, if you are able to find a common difference between any successive languages, you can directly say, there is no need to check it, you can directly say that point lies that point lies in regular set. Okay, so keep that in mind. There is some exception, I will tell you. There is one exception here, I will also tell you about this, but still now if I just do this for this question here, that a raised to power n, where n is odd. Because what happens in that, if you write the language, a raised to power smallest will be 1, and then 3, and then 5, and then 7. Again, you know that this is a regular language, but if you find the common difference, you will again find somewhat common difference too. So again, you know that there is the difference between the successive terms in common. So you can directly say that this is the AP series, so this is a regular term. Okay, so based on this, can anybody tell me? Okay, so you have to reply in the chat box, yes or no. Okay, so a raised to power n, where n is prime. Okay, so now write the language, what is the language, and see that if it comes under arithmetic progression or not, or there is something common difference in it. Okay, so just see and tell me what is this is yes regular language or no. Okay, so most of you have said no. Yeah, absolutely correct. Now, if you just see what is a prime number, the prime number is that number which goes towards the table of 1 and as well as on the table of itself. Okay, so that is the condition from prime number. So the smallest prime number you can write, if I think 2, 2, 2 is a prime number, and another one 2, 3 is also a prime number. Then 4 is not a prime number because it goes to the table of 2. 5 is also a prime number because it doesn't go towards the table of any other one. 6 is not a prime number. 7 is also a prime number. 8 is not a prime number. 9 is not a prime number. 10 is not a prime number. 11, I think 11 is a prime number. Same way 13 is a prime number. Okay, so if you see that they are if you see the common difference here, it is 1 here, and 5 minus 2 is 3 here, and here it is 2, and here it is 3. So if you clearly see that this is irregular, I cannot find difference that is common between these successive terms. Okay, so if the series is not in AP, or there is no difference that is common between the successive terms, you can directly say that this is not a regular language. Okay, so this is not a regular language. Okay, based on the same premise, just see this question, that a raised to power n raised to power 2 and n is greater than equal to. So see if this is a regular language or not. Just tell me. Just put the value of n one by one and see. Okay, so only one no. Anybody else? I think Raghav here is absolutely right, that it should not be regular because I don't think that it will form any AP here. Okay, so just we also check also again write the language here. So 1 raised to power for 2, so it is 1. So then a raised to power 2 raised to power 2 is 4, and again the 3 for 3 raised to power 2 is 9. Okay, so there is another thing, you already have studied this one, and in your what do you say, in your Java and C++, that there is something called associativity. So in terms if something is written like 3 raised to power 2 raised to power 2, it can also be represented like this, 3 raised to power 2 raised to power 2. So this is right associative. So firstly the this portion is solved, then this portion is solved. Okay, so you cannot solve it like this, that the first 3 raised to power 2, which is 3 raised to power 2 is 9, and 9 raised to power 2 is 81. So this is wrong. Firstly you have to solve the power terms, that is 2 raised to power 2 is 4 here, and 3 raised to power 4 is 3, I think 81. Yeah, 3 is the 9. Oh, I think 9 27 3. So again we are getting, I think, okay, so we are getting the same thing. Is there any kind of 3 3 9 9 is okay? So in this example we are getting the same thing. Just wait for a minute. 2 raised to power 2 raised to power I think 3. Okay, so I just changed the number here. I don't think that it should be possible. 2 raised to power 3 raised to power 2. Okay, so check it. 2 raised to power 3 is 8. 8 8 is the 64. Okay, so now it will be 3 raised to power 2 raised to power. So 3 3 is the 9, and 2 raised to power 9 is 112. Okay, so this is not similar. Okay, so this is wrong solution, but this is correct one. Okay, so keep that in mind, that your exponent operation is a right associative. So firstly the right term is solved, and then you move on forward with the associativity is right to left, not left to right. Okay, so if you have seen the associativity of like this one, 7 plus 2 plus 3 is left to right. So you solve this one first, then this one first. Okay, so precedence, you know about it. Precedence, you already know that it is a priority, and associativity, some of you should may forget about associativity. So associativity, keep it and the thing in mind that when you are raising to the power, so I have raised it to the power of 3. Now I will raise it to the power of 4. Now it will become 4 raised to power 2. So it will be 4 4 is the 16, I think. Yeah. Okay. So keep that thing in mind that this is a silly mistake that most students do. So don't do this silly mistake here. Okay. So now now if you see and check for the part that for this AP part. Okay. So now see the common difference between I just wait for a minute. Okay. So now if you clearly see and check the common difference between this, there the common difference is 3, and here 9 minus 4, the common difference is again I think 5, and another common difference is 16 minus 9. So it will I think 6 7. Okay. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so there is no common difference between it. So this terms do not lie in AP. You can directly say that this is not a regular language. Okay, there is one exception I will tell you. Just solve this one and tell me is this in AP. So most of the students do a little bit of a mistake in this one. So just solve it and tell me that this is AP or not. This is regular or not. Okay, so most of you are saying that no. Okay, so you are absolutely correct that this is not a regular language. If you find out the just replace the value of n here, so it will be 2 raised to power 1, which is 2. Smallest string will be 2, and 2 raised to power now n value of 2 n is 2, so it will be 2 raised to power 4. Then it will be 2 raised to power 8. So I don't know why student makes this mistake here. So they don't exactly check the difference between them. So there the difference is 2, and here the difference is 4, and here the difference is 8. So this is also not a common difference between them. So you can directly say it that this is not a regular language because there is no common difference line. So I am stressing on the point that there should be common difference. Okay, so I'm stressing on that point that there should be some common difference between the terms. Okay, so why I'm telling you about this common difference, because if there is a common difference, it means that it signifies a loop. Okay, so if there is a loop present in the regular expression or a finite automata, it means that that with the help of this loop, you can represent infinite pattern. So that is why I'm stressing on that this common difference represent a loop. So with the help of loop, if you clearly see that in your programming and data structures also, you have seen that sometimes if you have studied data structure, there is something called time and space complexity. Okay, so suppose I have written a loop like for I equal to 1 to n. So the two loops are written like this. Okay, so they are doing something. I do not need to worry about it, but they are doing exactly. So suppose they are printing some name, so printf something. Okay, so you have clearly seen that the time complexity of this one is O raised to power n square. Why I said that? Because this whatever be the value of n, it will take uh, that amount of time. Like if the value of n is 6 and the value of n here is also 6, then it will be if every print takes only 1 second, so it will take around 36 seconds. Okay, so if you understand it like this, then uh, how how can I say that this, if exactly when you replace the value of n, when I am able to represent this some pattern in a for loop, it means that there is some pattern exist in some problem here. So if there is a pattern exists, it means that I am able to represent an infinite problem into a finite one. So that is why I'm saying this. Okay, so if there is some common difference exist, you can directly say that there is some kind of a loop exist in states. There is some kind of loop exist in states. So if there is some kind of loop exist in that states, you can also say that with the help of that loop, that you can represent infinite patterns in a finite way. Okay, so that is the logic behind why we are uh, uh, looking for a common difference here. Okay, so there is one exception there. So if suppose, before telling you the exception, suppose this is another string like the sixth one, that a raised to power I and b raised to power j the square. Okay, so where a and I and j is less than greater than equal to. Okay, so can you tell me it is regular or not? Okay, so I think most of you are getting my point, what I'm trying to say, because if this pattern is exactly this pattern we have already studied, that b raised to power j raised to power square is this one, that a raised to power n raised to power square. So this is the same one. There is no particular for that particular expression. You are not able to say that this is a regular one. So if it is concatenated with anything, you can directly say that it is not a regular expression. So again, there is one exception here that I want to tell you about. That exception is this one. Okay, so don't consider this one, that a raised to power n and b raised to power n, because if you clearly see that in this one what happens is a raised to power 2, b raised to power 2, and a raised to power 4 and b raised to power 4 also, and a raised to power 6 and b raised to power 6. So there the common difference, if you take a look at it, it is always common here. Okay, so here it is 2, here it is 2, but exactly this is not a regular. This is only one exception, that where your arithmetic progression do not work. Okay, so keep that thing in mind, because exactly if I'm talking about this, that this is a concatenation of a raised to power n and b raised to power n. So this is exactly a concatenation of this one. Okay, so in set theory, it is assumed that whenever you are concatenating a raised to power n, suppose this term is written like this. So this is explanation for this. It's a raised to power n, a raised to power n is greater than 1, and b raised to power n where n is greater than 1. Okay, so exactly if you are doing a concatenation, it will look like this: a raised to power n and b raised to power n. Now it is combined like this: a raised to power n equal to 0, and then n raised to power n. When we are concatenating it exactly, we are not we cannot say that this a raised to power n is dependent upon this one. It is uh, actually independent of that n that is dependent upon that. Okay, so it is, what I mean to say, that it is actually b raised to power m here. So that is why most of the people get confused here when I do a concatenation of that both operators. uh, why it becomes like this, that part is not regular, but exactly uh, when you are concatenating the expression, you have to keep in mind that the dependency, these two expressions should be independent of each other. Okay, so if I'm writing n here, I have to write m here. So when we are concatenating it, it will become b raised to power m, and also here the value of m will look like this. So that is the proper concatenation that we do. So that is, whenever we do a concatenation, we have uh, one assumption in mind, that the concatenated strings that we are concatenating do not depend upon each other. So they are exactly independent of each other. So this independence should also be seen when we are combining or concatenating some operators. So okay, so in that way, that is the reason why this one is not applicable, because if we are concatenating it, it exactly means that this and should not be dependent upon this one. Okay, so that is a different meaning. Okay, so keep in mind that there is this is an exception here, that if you see that there is this string is in AP here, but still this is not regular. Okay, so I will tell you the tell you what is the reason behind it.
If you think of like how meetings are run at work so often, what happens at meetings is like everybody comes in and then they have the signal problem where they signal that they've read the brief or they've done the work for the meeting, but they're all basically paraphrasing the exact same thing. They're just saying it in different language. So the meeting.
Okay. Okay. So I hope you understand it. Now, if I just take any strings like a raised to power I and b raised to power j, where I is greater than equal to 1 and j is prime. So can you say that this is a regular language or not? Okay, so I think you got the right point here, Varun, Sparsh and Anshul, that again the same thing lies here, that there's this expression that b raised to power j independently is not prime. So by concatenating it with any other one, it should also not be a regular one. Okay, so that is the same thing that we have done. So in the same way, just remember that part also, that we have done this 4 things, and with the help of that 4 things, I am adding a 5th one, that if clearly want to see that if something has a AP or the prerequisite of a common difference between them, then you can directly say that that this language is regular. Okay, so keep that thing in mind. Okay, with the exception of e raised to power n and p raised to power n. Okay, so for that I already told you that if there are certain variables repeating and in the form of raised to the power, you can directly say that it requires a memory, and there is no need to check it. You can directly say that this is not a regular one. Okay, so to avoid the confusion, I have told you this example. So don't if this is a perfect method, that if n and n is repeating in the form of powers, it means that there is some dependence between successive strings. You can directly say it that it is not regular. Okay, so now comes the formal method. I just tell you about pumping lemma. Okay, so why I do not want you to use the pumping lemma, I already told you, but it is also a very valid method and it is very easy method. First of all, again, it looks a very complex method, but it is very easy. Okay, so there are so much variables in that whenever you read that method, most of us will get confused. Okay, so don't worry about it. I will give you an example with it so that you can easily understand it. Don't worry about it. Okay, so pumping lemma is based on something where we have to pump the strings. Okay, so the name of this is like to have to pump the strings. That is why it's called pumping lemma. Okay, so there are 2 pumping lemmas, that pumping lemma for regular language and pumping lemma for context-free language. So don't worry about it, because we are standing in regular language, so we are only studying about right now about pumping lemma for language. Okay, so it is just saying that in a theory of formal languages, so the formal languages are your regular language, context-free language and context-sensitive language. Okay, so that one and recursive set also, these are all formal languages. The pumping lemma for regular languages is a lemma. So lemma is like a theorem that describes an essential property of all regular languages. Okay, so it is talking about informally. I will tell you about in the next slide. The formal definition is also given. So informally, it is saying that all the sufficiently long words in a regular language may be pumped. That is, the middle section of the word is repeated an arbitrary number of times to produce a new word that also lies within the same language. So it exactly means that if there is some string exists like this one AABB, some strings, as just take a random string, and this string is divided into 3 parts. So the first part will be your x, second part will be your y, and third part is your z. So they are saying the middle section of the word repeated. So they are saying that this is the middle section, and take that middle section and pump the strings here. So just y is just raise it to the power of anything, but raise it to the power of I. So what do I do? So this is your x, do not change it. This is your z, do not change it. So I just pumping the strings here. So what is b? So what is this is b. Now I pump one more b. Now I pump one more b. So now I pump. So this is the pump that I am talking about in pumping lemma. Okay. So after pumping it, so that string that comes from it, that should also be in the language. So if it is in the language, you can directly say, you cannot directly say that this is a regular language or not, because it passes the pumping test. But if this does not lie in the language, you can say that it is not a regular language. Okay, so keep that thing in mind. I will again tell you about it. Don't worry about it. So the formal definition is given like this. So it is a bit difficult definition to understand. Just keep in mind about the variables here. Okay. So it is saying that L be the regular language. The first variable is your L. L is denoting a language. Then there exists a integer p. So p is another variable, small p, and it's called your pumping length. Okay, I will tell you what is this. Don't worry about it. So now there exists an integer p greater than 1 depending only on L, such that every string w in L. So there is something called w. So this is your string in L of length at least p. Okay, so don't worry about it. I will tell you. Can be written as. So it is saying that W can be divided into three parts, X, Y, and Z, such that these three parts are satisfying these following conditions. So Y should be greater than equal to 1. So this is, keep that in mind. This thing denotes the length here. So the length of Y should be greater than equal to 1. Okay, so the length of Y should be greater than equal to 1. So the length of X and Y combined. So the length of X and Y combined should be less than equal to the pumping length, and I will tell you about it. Okay, so this is also a very important point here, that X, the value of X and the value of Z can be 0. So there is no particular way, that there is no particular compulsion that you always have the length of 1, but the length of Y should, there is a condition that the length of Y should be greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so I know that this is very difficult to understand. I will tell you, it is very easy. Just I will explain you with the example. So just I copy and paste it. So I will explain you with the example, so you will get a better understanding of what I'm talking about it. Okay, so just I paste it. OneNote has some problems. So this is the definition of pumping lemma. Okay, so the first condition is written here. Okay, so it is saying depending on the L, such that W in length at least p. Okay, so what is the meaning of at least p? I can say that the length, that W in L of length at least p. So what is the meaning of at least p? That they are saying that the length of the pumping string, that the length of W, I say that the length of W is at least of length p, at least of length p, of is at least of length p. So it means that the length of W, which I extract it out, so some string, W is some string, the length of W is at least p, meaning it should be at least p, but it can also be greater than p. Okay, so if you remember, I say that there should be at least two A's present in a particular language. So it means at least there will be two, but it can be 3, 4 up to infinity can be in the language. Okay, so the meaning of this is similar as at least it will be of length p, but it can be greater than p. It can be greater than p also. So there is no worry about it. So at least it will be p, but it can also go ahead. Okay, so I will tell you what. I'll take example. So this is your example, a raised to power n, b raised to power n. You absolutely know that this language is not a regular one. Okay, so we have already seen this. So how can we prove this is not a regular language? By using the pumping lemma here. So again, follow the conditions. It is very, very easy. Okay. So the first condition I just tell you is to take the pumping length variable. So this P. Okay, so I'm talking about P here. Okay, so first of all, it is saying that the pump length is greater than or equal to 1. Okay. So second of all, it is saying that some string. So this is a sum string. The first step I do, I replace this n with the pumping string, that P and B raised to power P. Okay. So now I have derived one string that is a W from this language A raised to power n, B raised to power n, and that language I replace that n with the P. Okay, so just for the next 5 minutes, just carefully listen what I'm saying. So this is a little bit confusing, but if you go through it, if you just listen to me for the next coming 5 seconds, you can easily understand what I'm saying. Okay, so now it is saying, first of all, you take the P greater than equal to 1. I'm not taking any consolidated value. I'm just telling that the first step I do, I replace this n with the pumping length string. Okay, so I have to pump it. I have to take a value of P will be 1, 2, 3, 4, some any value. P, the value of n greater than 1. So it can be 1, 2 up to infinity. Don't worry about that. Okay, so now this condition that every string in W, W in L of length at least P. Okay, so this understand this, that length of W is at least length of P. Okay, so now what will be the length of this this particular string W here? So if you see P, if PAs are there, PBs are here. So I can say that 2P is the length of this W, and this 2P is at least it is at least P. So again, I tell you about it, that the length of W, I just write it, the length of W is longer or equal than is longer or equal to P. Okay, so that is what that at least says. Okay, so don't confuse it with anything else. So I just replace this at least with at least some P, the length of P. Okay, so now I am saying that the length of W is 2P. It is again greater than equal to P. So that is the first condition that is written here, that depending on L. So there is the value of P is not defined, that there exists a integer P here. So I have not defined P yet, but I'm saying that whatever be the length of this W, it is at least the length of the P. Okay, so because if you take just I take a string also, just take the value of P as 2. Now if you clearly see it, the length of that length of W will, if I just put the value of 2 here, so 2 will be from here, 2 will be from here. So A, B, B, the length of this W will be 4. So 4 is greater than equal to exactly 2. So this is also correct. Okay, so that thing I generalized it, but I'm saying that the length of this W, the W can be any string that raised to the power of a pumping length string, and it should have at least the length of P. So what is the length of P in this exact case is 2. So it is again at least, meaning so at least 2, it can also be greater than 1. Okay, so that is the first condition here. So this is satisfied, that because if you take a look at it, if I generalize it, that you can generate 2P length here. So this is the length, that the length is 2P, and it is at least has the size length of P. So you can directly say that it is again greater than equal to P. So this condition is satisfied. Now check the remaining condition. Then now I just raise it to the power. I can raise it to the power of 1, or I can raise it to the power of 2. So I'm just raising it to the power of 2, because to tell you it is first I take this, I will take also this one also. Okay, so now I just raise it to the power of 2. Now it will become the W become A B B. Okay, so now what can you do? You can divide this string into X, Y, and Z, such that it satisfies these three conditions. So I will only talk about these two conditions. So this is a different condition, I will tell you about it. So what is how can you divide it? So you can take this one as X, this one as y, this one as z. Okay, so now if you check the condition, what is the condition here? That the length of y is greater than 1. Second one is the length of xy should be less than equal to p. Okay, so now here p is 2, so I just replace it with 2. Okay, so now if I check it, the length of b here is greater than 1, so greater than or equal
Sir,
to, yes, yes.
sir, do we have to take y to be a single character, or can we take it to be a multiple characters also? Like it depends on us, right? Like what we want to choose, what we want to divide the string into.
Yeah, absolutely. That is why I'm saying you only have to satisfy these two conditions. Now, if you clearly see in this one, the length of x and y should be less than 2. If you check the length of x and y, here is 3. Okay, here 3. 3 is not less than 2. Okay, so you cannot take the division like this. Okay, so it should be less than 2. So what can I do to make it less than 2? I can again, if I just do a division like that, that x here, y here, and the remaining part is of z. Now check the first condition, that y is greater than equal to 1. So that is satisfied, that the length of y is greater than equal to 1. So the length of y is 1. And the length of x and y combined. So the length of x and y combined is 2. 2 is less than the pumping string. Yes, that is absolutely true. So you can make this as this one. Okay, so understood? So it just, you have to divide x, y, z such that it satisfied these two conditions. If you are satisfying these two conditions, you can divide it in any way. Okay, so now if you clearly see, now this is of the form of x, y, and z. So I am coming towards the third and final state. Whenever you are satisfied the first two conditions, now the first two conditions are satisfied. Now the third condition is, now you have to pump it. Okay, so now what is the pumping here? So x is a, and y is what? Y is only, sorry for that, x is only a, I think. Yeah, x is a here, and y is what? Y is a here, and z is what? bb. Okay, so this is I. Okay, so now what you do, you have to pump the string. So I just raise it to the power of 2. Now I'm pumping it, so it will become 2 times a and b. Now check, is this string lies in the language? Okay, so if you check it, there the language is raised to power n, b raised to power n. So 3 a's and 2 b's does not lie in that language. Okay, so in 3 a's and 2 b's does not lie in the language. In the same way, you can again check for I raised to power 3, that now in the value of a raised to power 3, it will become a, and then bb should be as usual as it written. So now again 4a and 2b is also not belongs to the same language. Okay, so this is not belonging to the same language. You can directly say that this is not a regular language. Okay, so I hope you understand it. Again in this one, so if for p equal to 1, you can also satisfy this one. So it is easy for me to explain in this one. Now for this condition, for p equal to 1, now there is something written here. Okay, so just don't worry about it. I just raise it to the power of 1 here. So when I raise it to the power of 1, it will become a raised to power p, b raised to power p. So I just taken that string, it will become w equal to 1 and 1. The string will become only a and b. Okay, so you have to divide the string in x, y, and z. Okay, so now what happens is, now this condition plays a very important part that is written here. Note that the length of x and z can be 0. Note that the length of x and z can be 0, but the length of y cannot be 0. It should be greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so it means that I can take this one as y and take this one as z, because the length of x can be 0, it is already written, and the length of z can also be written, but the length of y cannot be 0. So that is why I have to take a one y here. Okay, so now what is the condition here? So what first condition is, you have it should be greater than equal to 1. So the y is greater than equal to 1. So this condition is satisfied. The second condition is the length of x and y. So the length of x is exactly 0 and the length of y is 1. So 1 should be less than the pumping length. So pumping length is p equal to 1. So this condition is also satisfied. Okay. So it means that you have to now pump it. So how to pump it? Like this, y raised to power z. So it will become a, and this will become b. So just pump this I raised to the power of 2. So a, pump it, a b. So AAB also does not lie in that language, because if you see a raised to power n, b raised to power n, so the string will be, if there are two a's, there should be two b's. Okay, so that AAB does not lie in the language. In the similar way, if you again pump it, I raised to power 3 also. So only one string is needed to confirm. If any string does not lie in the language, you can directly say that this is not a regular language. Okay, so based on that, you can also say that this is not a regular language. Okay, so I hope you understand this one. Okay, so I will again do two more questions regarding this. Don't worry about it if you don't understand it. In the next one, you will understand it. Okay, so for your homework, we just do this question, this one, x raised to the power of n and y raised to the power of 2n, and n is greater than equal to 0. Okay. So again, I have uploaded the PPT of it. I
Sir?
will also upload the notes. Yes, please.
Sir, is it possible that for different values of p, it can be a regular expression and not? Like if we consider any other value, and if it
Yeah,
comes out to be
it is absolutely possible that for different languages of P, that for different value of P, it can be regular. That is possible. But how do I say this? Uh, how do I say this? That you have studied in discrete mathematics something called a closure property. I tell you the concept of it. The concept of closure property is that, suppose this is a set of a natural number. Okay, so this is a set of a natural number. So what happens in that? Suppose I say that this plus is closed under natural number. So what is the meaning of it? That if I take one natural number and add and apply addition to it, you will again get a natural number. So closure means whenever between two natural numbers you apply a particular operator, and the result is also a natural number, you can say that this operator is closed under under your natural numbers. Okay, so I can say that the plus is closed under a natural number. How I can say that? Because uh, by saying that it is closed under natural operators, it means that all the numbers I have tested it for all the natural numbers, that if I do addition with the natural numbers, the resulting is also a natural number. Okay, so for if I find one instance, like if I do this apply this operator like plus and something like 3, and what I got is not natural. Okay, so for only one instant, that I can directly say that it is not closed under this one. Okay, so I think I have made a more confusion than understanding you. So again, so your question was that for different values of P, it is also possible that you will find that if some string is generated, it lies in the language. So that is possible. I am saying that is possible. But if you find at least one string that does not belong to the language after pumping lemma, you can directly say that this is not regular. Okay, so my answer to your question is, you have asked for different pumping instances, like pump equal to 4 and pump equal to 5. If you are able to divert this string, that is a possibility that you will find some strings that belongs to the language. That is possible. But if you find only one string that does not belong to the language, at that point you can directly say that this is not regular. Okay, so you only have to find one string, but by pumping it, if it does not belong to the language, you can directly say it.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so again, do this question yourself. I will again do 2 or 3 questions for that pumping one. Don't worry about it. This definition seems a little bit of a difficult, but if I do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 more questions, you will easily understand it. Okay, don't worry about it. We will do 2-3 questions more. Okay. So now I think your time, I have taken more 5 minutes of your time. You can leave the class, and thank you for listening. Okay. If you again have any doubt,